What is up, Internet Land? Optimus Prime, aka Optimus Prime, here with another Transformers third-party review. Today, the figure we're looking at is the Jiang Black Apple Thunder Leader Optimus Prime. So Jiang, I say, didn't Jiang go away years ago? Yes, as a matter of fact, Jiang is sadly just a memory in all of our minds. I say sadly because I feel that they actually made a lot of really good stuff. Not usually, certainly not always, just cheap knockoffs, but like really expensive, relatively expensive, really good knockoffs that in many cases improved vastly upon the originals. So yeah, this one is no different. So apparently Jiang hired some designer. Oof, that fingerprints. Jiang hired a designer named Black Apple under the username Black Apple or handle or whatever you want to call it. And that guy took the masterpiece Optimus Prime and he's like, how can we make this better? And make it better they did. I really hold to that for a long time. Now, this is considered by many to be possibly the best and most show accurate or movie accurate transforming Optimus Prime. I don't know of anybody who makes a transforming one that does it better than this. I'm thinking, but if I've forgotten something significant, please drop me a line. Let me know how freaking wrong I am. But anyhow, yeah, after Jiang, they fucked around and they found out. They apparently decided that they wanted to bootleg some Iron Man figure or something like that. And you don't mess with Disney's IP. Like Hasbro is relatively tolerant of all this, which thank you so much, Hasbro. I am so happy that they are tolerant of this stuff. Disney is not tolerant of that sort of thing whatsoever. And yeah, they fucked around. They found out and they no longer exist. So getting new copies of this figure basically became impossible. And yeah, like the prices on this thing absolutely skyrocketed. It quickly became, you know, oh yeah, you could buy one on eBay for like $400. And I'm like, good God. There's no fucking way I'm going to spend $400 for this figure. Even if it is the best type of figure that you can get of this. That's just $400 is an awful lot of money for something like this. So, yeah. But apparently recently the factory that manufactured these for Jiang decided to manufacture some more. And they come in, instead of a box that says Thunder Leader, Jiang, all that jazz, it just is a blank red box. And the instructions, which are exactly the same except for the front cover, which is just a blank front cover. It doesn't have any Jiang labeling on it whatsoever. It doesn't say Black Apple. It doesn't say Thunder Leader. It is an unlicensed distribution of that figure. And I mean, it works out, I guess. I mean, what's Jiang going to do? They don't exist anymore. So the company that makes these can make them for all they want. So I bought this guy for like 120 bucks. And for 120 bucks, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. My God. Yeah. So I am very pleased with this. Now, the most fascinating thing for me on this, as you may know, I am an engineer. I'm a machinist. And I am fascinated by the design lineage of this. So this is my MP4 Optimus Prime. Well, it's not technically MP4. This is the one that's, you know, not painted. This is the one that is painted as though not by a monkey. It's the bootleg. It's the bootleg that has like real paint apps on it. And it is fascinating to look at the similarities and differences between these, because this clearly came from this. And in fact, let me see. Let me see if I can find a specific point of engineering. Because there are engineering all over this thing. Like, for example, if you pull down this arm here, you see how this panel and stuff like that is tucked up in there? That's all of this, that's all of, come on. Come on, don't fight me. Don't fight me, I own you. Anyhow, that's all of this stuff, like, folded up in there. And of course, this guy, nothing folds up in there, but a lot of that engineering, that gap, is mostly still there. You know? Or other things, one of the things that really strikes me every time I transform this guy into his truck mode, and I don't see it offhand. Maybe I'll try and remember to point it out when I get him going into truck mode. There's like a spot where on the MPO4, the trailer hitch has got that like frame that clunks down into it, and it tabs in on the legs. It's actually, it tabs into these spots right here, I believe. And this guy has got the tabs. He doesn't have the slots for that, but he's got the tabs for it, wherever the tabs are hiding. And just a bunch of little things like that. There's engineering on this figure that doesn't need to be there, because it's actually, they started with this sculpt and this engineering, and they just made it bigger and added in a bunch of better engineering. But it's really fascinating to me looking at this and seeing, let me put this guy's arm back up. Yeah. It's really fascinating, though, seeing how much of this guy's engineering actually comes from here. The, like, leader class Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime. This is the Buster Prime variant, so he doesn't have the arm blades. He's got the removable combining fuel tanks that make the gun. He's got a couple little differences. Plus, you know, of course I took the batteries out because I'm not stupid. But, you know, the different, like, abdomens and abdomens, the different abs and whatnot. So it's interesting to see how this design turned into this design, Super fascinating. I will not be comparing these in vehicle mode, because that would mean that I'd have to transform them back into vehicle mode, and then after that point transform them back into robot mode, because that's how they get displayed on my shelf. And shoot, dude, I'm already going to be doing that with this guy, because he's getting displayed in robot mode. And ain't nobody got time for that. But yeah, this figure, phenomenal. Excellent sculpt. One of the things that I really like is they did his back proud. Like this guy here, he is not show accurate at all. I think that you could maybe say that it's better than the leader class figure, but not really. It's not really better. And a lot of things in here smokestacks like to move around, and these things are held in by like incredibly tiny, super finicky tabs, so they don't really like tab in super well. Actually, neither of these is really tabbed in. They just sitting there via friction. And this guy, not only is it more movie accurate with like shorter fuel tanks and these like panels here and this correct panels and the smokestacks standing in the correct direction at the correct height, and like how these things like tuck up underneath, like it's all quite accurate. I'm not going to say it's necessarily like 1000% accurate, but it's pretty damn. The paint apps on this are fantastic. It ends up looking very shiny in his alt mode, but you get a lot of this grunge in the robot mode, and they just painted in such a way that the grunge is on the parts that only show in robot mode, and the shiny is all of the parts that, you know, present in vehicle mode. But like, what's fantastic is that they don't clash. Like this part here doesn't look bad because this part here has got grunge on it. You know, it doesn't look out of place. It still looks really good. It's painted very well. Of course, he's also got the like magic tires, which I will show when we're transforming it. But yeah, fantastic figure. In terms of accessories, it's actually really simple and straightforward. He comes with 2 of these Energon blades and 2 of these guns. And so the guns, I'm just going to do 1 of each. The guns have got a tab on the handle. They are hand specific. You'll see that these are mirrored asymmetrical. They've got a tab on the handles. He's got a slot on his hand. You just put that into his hand. Maneuver that slot, in that tab into that slot. Just center. And then curl the hands around, or the fingers around, and it works out. It holds pretty dang well, actually. It doesn't, like, cover the hand. Like, I think that... I'm trying to remember specifically. It's been a couple years since I've seen the movie. I know that in the later movies, he definitely held them like handguns, but I want to say in the first movie, his hand turned into the gun. Like, it basically replaced his hand. So, they don't do that necessarily, but... For the blades, you want to take and open up this panel here, and then open up this panel here. And then the blade will fit into... Now, these blades are also asymmetrical. And I don't remember which one goes to which. You can see that this is offset to one side. And I don't remember offhand which set goes, which way goes where. But you want to put it in so that the blade sticks up and then fold it around. And then tab this back in. And now he's got his wrist-mounted blades. And they look good. They're sculpted well in this translucent orange plastic with the molded in Cybertronian runes and the silver paint. Mine are wobbly. I don't know if they're all wobbly. I don't know. If I was really worried about it, I would do something to adjust that tolerance. However, I'm not really worried about it because it only wobbles when you're sitting here moving it. And when he's, you know, standing in a static pose on display, he's not going to be moving. As you can see, it's not wobbling right now at all. So I'm okay with it. But if this bothers you, you can adjust that in one of the many ways that you can adjust tolerances on parts. And that's it for his... Oh, well, I guess that's not it. So he does, of course, just like the MPO4, have the matrix inside his chest. And it involves like untransforming half this figure to get to it. And I'll be honest with you, I never managed to get it in there. There are little holes in it that fit in the little tabs in the little matrix chamber. And for whatever reason, this will not fit on those holes, on those pegs. And I just, for the life of me, have not been able to get that to work. And so eventually I just said, F it. It's not that important to me. So I'm not worried about it in the slightest. I don't care. So that's his other accessory. So he comes with 2 guns and a tiny little die-cast matrix, which looks like it did in the second movie. Yeah, second movie. Because that was the last one before they introduced that hot chick. But anyhow, in terms of articulation, oh hey, the one feature I should point out, this guy does have the MPO4 face swapping mechanism, where you get this panel out of the way. You can take and tip his face back, rotate this around-ish, and then tip it back into place. And now he's got his like mouth face. This does also come with, it's in the box. I haven't installed it. They have a version that comes in this set that actually you just take this and you tip it back, and it has a faceplate that you flip down. And all in all, it's probably easier to do than this. But all in all, I much prefer, I'm a child of the 80s. I much prefer his mouth plate version to his mouth version. And I don't ever see myself having that in there. Like all I would do is have that as an additional hypothetical feature. And I guess I do like some hypothetical features sometimes, but I don't know. Just the struggle of installing that didn't seem worth it to me, so I didn't do that. But yeah, his head does go up and down. It is on a hinge or swivel and whatnot. His arms go around. They're on a ratchet. They do go all the way around. This little thing here moves. That moves. You can bend all of this up and down to get in and out of the way. So if you're going to move his arm up, you want to bend this, slide this down first, and then move his shoulder up. He's got a bicep swivel, single joint bend at the elbow, but a huge range of motion on that. He's got a rotating wrist. His thumb is on a swivel with a hinge, and then each of his fingers is with a hinge at the base and a hinge at the knuckle. And that's how it actually makes a pretty decent looking fist. Aside from the thumb being kind of an awkward place, but here, let's curl it up a little bit more. So yeah, it actually does a pretty decent looking fist, to be honest. No, he's got a waist joint. He's got a waist joint. You might need to make sure that the legs are descended down to their lowest point before you really get into that. It's not much of a waist joint, but it is a waist joint. Like I just mentioned, his legs will be ascended up and descended down. You can fine-tune how tall he stands. Also, if you find him standing maybe a little bit crooked, that's probably the reason why. The legs are on a ratchet. They'll go forward that much. They'll go backwards that much. They'll go outwards that much. Again, this is not a high posability figure. This is a very, very gorgeous display figure. Thigh swivel here. It is technically a double jointed knee, but it'll get you about that much. His ankle is on a tilt like that, and then a pivot like so. No rotation here. It's actually, if you have an MPO4, it's about the same amount of posability. And that's what we got. There, I just spent 20 minutes talking about this figure, and now it's going to take me an hour to transform it. But before that, I'm going to start the transformation off by transforming his guns. Because, I don't know if I want to, yeah, well, anyhow. So, first you're going to do is you're going to undo this tab here. You're going to undo, there's a tab back here, and then there's a tab right here. When you're transforming this into the gun mode, you do need to make sure that this tab fits in here. This tab. And then this tab here will go in to that. Like so. And then that tab will fit in. And it'll just come looking out just like this. But anyhow, we're going to the other way. Undo, 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 undo. You can open that up. You want to kind of flex this to get this tab out from underneath. There's a groove on the underside of this. And then you want to rotate this around. I haven't figured out how to do this without chipping that paint. You can see that dark paint is chipped there on the end of the... I haven't figured out how to do it without chipping that paint, but you got to like flex this into that groove. And I don't like it, but you got to do it. From this position here, you'll rotate this out. You can take these and they'll kind of fold in. Undo this tab, just kind of flex it out and bend that. There's like a little swoop, a little notch right there. You'll also notice there's a hinge here, so you want to take advantage of that. Now this tab is going to fit onto that slot there. Like that. And then this tab, which was his fist tab, I think. That'll fit into that slot there. This will come around like so. You want to fold this in. That's not how that folds around. You want to rotate this part first, and then this folds around. When this guy comes around, that tab now fits into that slot right there. This panel will come out. You don't want to just fold it straight around because that'll make it difficult. You want to take it and bend this up first to give yourself a little bit more clearance, then come around. This tab will fit into that slot right there, like that. This guy will come around, rotate, and fold in, and then that will fold in like so. And then this guy will go around like this. And that's how that gun looks. You want to make sure that everything's lined up. Like this is going to be directly vertical of there. Let me lower this. I'm used to dealing with smaller bits, and so I put my elbows like this, and we're going to do the whole thing all over again because A, I don't know that that was really well centered, and B, yeah, you got to do two of them. No matter how you slice it, you have to do two of them. You have to transform these in order to transform it into vehicle mode. You just don't really have a choice in that matter. Because they end up being an integral part of the alt mode, which actually is something that I think is kind of cool. So this is going to come up and out of the way. This is going to come all the way around. This is going to flex into that spot there. And then you're going to take this guy here, flex this tab out of the way. You can see that line for that notch that this plugs into. Bend this. Well, that doesn't seem right. Oh, it must have been in the right position already. Yeah. Click, click, click. This guy is going to bend up and around so that this part kind of hugs that cylindrical portion. Bring this up, fold this down, tab slot. This is going to come around, tab slot. Boom. And then this just straightens out like so. And these we're going to sit aside for the time being, along with these. This is one of those transformations. Like it is cool, but it is also like involved. So to get started, we're actually going to do my favorite magic trick, which is we're going to take one of these tires and we're going to rotate it like so. And all of a sudden, blammo, blammo, it turns into 2 tires. And I think that is easily one of the coolest things about the Jiang Black Apple version of this. The way it does that is as it pops in there, it moves these 5 pieces out of the way. And then you kind of see there's like a pin. You can't really see, can you? There's like a pin in this little like spot here. And it comes out and then you rotate it to lock it into that. And then to undo it, it's got the springs and you just shoop. Now you'll notice that these don't spin freely. I think that's because the spring that makes this pop out puts force on that. There is a hack you can do to essentially pop these open, take that spring out, and then carefully reassemble everything so that it still works. It is, I watched a video on that on YouTube, and it looked like a pain in the ass for not a whole lot of gain. So I'm not worried about it. While we're here, let's transform his butt. These guys do, yeah, if you take these and pull them out, they will rotate around and then clunk back into place. I'll do that to this one as well. Rotate that around, chunk that back into place. While I'm here, I might as well just continue working on the legs. Open up this panel here. That'll free up this panel here to come out. And then this will come back into where it was. Just hold up like that. You can take this little doohickey here, shoot that in. If you take this, you can grab this and then hold it kind of on the back. Be really careful because there is this tiny little antenna thing here. I don't want to bend or break that antenna. But you do have to undo this foot like so. Let's straighten this out. You can take his foot parts here and fold them up. You can take this guy here. You'll see that there's this little half tab here that'll fit into this hole on his ankle. And then on this side, you want to do basically the opposite. Undo this from his ankle. And that just sits there like that. For this guy here, you can take this and slide this up. This tab will plug into that slot right there. If you have this antenna in its proper space, and by the way, you'll see that it's got this like tiny little clip that holds that. If that's in its proper space, you can pretend to like plug this in. There's like a couple little tabs here and a couple little slots, and it'll hold-ish, but it probably won't hold until we're done. Again, anybody who's like trying to skip through this, absolutely go and skip through this. In fact, I probably will, because of the nature of this video, because it's going to be a longer transformation. If I remember to, I'll put in time skips so you can skip all this transformation if you want to. Otherwise, you can use this as a guide to transform your figure. If it's been a while since you've transformed it into robot mode, then maybe that's what you want to do. But I, as always, pride myself on giving an uncut view of the nitty-gritty of the Transformers engineering, because sometimes that engineering is frustrating and sucks, and you need to know about that. And it's so easy to just like do a jump cut and be like, yeah, and that's how it was. This little piece here goes in like so. By the way, I like that they picked out the little like conduits in there in the like brass or gold paint. It's the little things. The little things in this build. Let's take his dick plate, pull that out, fold these up, tuck that in like so. That's about right for now. We can actually take his legs, and with these tabs down here at what were his ankles, we can plug those in together. And that'll kind of start to line all this up. Alrighty, so now he would win any luge competition whatsoever. So that's something. We're going to take and open up this part here. Actually, before we get too far, let's disconnect both of these. We're not going to transform his arms just yet, but I am going to move these down. That will allow me to take these and move these up, which will allow me to play with his dick plate. Yeah. This is, by the way, all that transformation for the upper body. This is in here super stiff. This is where you would put in the matrix. And again, like he's got these two little tabs here. But like I cannot, for the life of me, get that to fit. I know what I really need to do is go in with like a little file, but I don't really have a file that small. I saw some dude on the internet, I swear to God, I saw this guy just like throw it in there and close it up and like didn't even do anything. And I'm just like, that's the best I can do. And that's not nearly enough, because this is a precision engineering machine. And if something doesn't fit just right, it doesn't fit. Over here, let's take these guys and flip them up. That'll get them out of the way. Let's start to disconnect some of the crap on his back too. Most importantly, you'll see that there's a tab that fits into the top of his back. And so you want to kind of like lift that out. There we go. Lift that out. That will kind of allow you to get these out and get this out, and ta-da, we're starting to free things up, guys. I talk about how complicated this guy is, but I also feel like we're mostly done with him already. So these things, you'll see that they slide in, and then you got a slot here and a tab here. So you want to take that and pop that into that tab. There is a tab that keeps these two together, and you might want to be mindful of that, I guess. So let me tell you how this is going to go. So you take this guy here, and you kind of like unfold this, and then unfold this, and then unfold that, and then fold up this. Did you catch that? We're going to do it again. Unfold this, and unfold this, and then unfold this, and then this panel right here, fold that in. And then on the inside here, there's this little hinge here, this like joint, and we're going to bend that out like this. Now, I did buy this from Shozi Store. By the way, Shozi Store is fantastic, and I heartily recommend them. They are really good about making sure that everything comes to you in one piece. I do want to point out, if you see this little white, it'll look like a small light mark on your screen, but here there's a crack in that pin, and that's how it came out of the box for me. And I looked at that, and I thought about it, and I looked at that, and I thought about it, and I looked at it, and I thought about it some more, and I decided I'm not going to claim that. Just because I could claim it, and Shozi absolutely would send me a replacement part. I don't know exactly how long it will take. And it just, that's not a load-bearing part, really. And it hasn't gotten any worse after transforming this several times. And it's all right. So I'm not going to worry about that. But I would like to point out that if you do have issues with something that you buy at Shozi, you can submit a request for a replacement part. They will replace it. In fact, not only that, I don't know if you guys remember, I reviewed my New Age reflector set years ago. And I was pulling out my reflector set recently. By recently, I mean, you know, within the last year. And noticed that one of my guys no longer had a head. Now, I bought those guys from Agabus, who also is a fantastic sales guy. But Agabus, it's been a long time, and I don't know. I'll be honest, I didn't even ask Agabus. Just because I wasn't sure if they would be able to get that for me after so many years later. Typically companies only like do coverage on their products for a certain amount of time. And I knew that I was well beyond that time, whether it's, you know, a few months or a year or whatnot. whatever reasonable amount you can imagine, I was beyond that. By the way, before I get too much further, I do want to point out, I love how this paint app here like matches up pretty freaking well. But this folds in, and then it's later going to line up with this paint app here. And you'll notice when that happens, and I'll try to remember to point that out, it lines up pretty freaking well. So, something that I like about that. Whoopsie. There we go. Anyhow, yeah, I emailed Agabus, and I was like, or not Agabus, I emailed Shozi, and I was like, hey guys, I didn't buy this from you guys. But I pulled it off my shelf recently, and I noticed that it was missing a part. Here's the picture of my three guys. You'll see that one of them does not have a head. And I paid them like 20 bucks, and I said, can you guys find a missing part for me? And they're like, you know what? We will do what we can. And I said, okie dokie, that's better than nothing. Because at this point, you know, like my other option would be to go on the internet somewhere and buy a new set, which that's an out-of-print set now. Not easy to get my hands on. Oh, come on. This matrix chamber is going to pull out. And the head's going to go into that empty space there. And while I'm here, I'm actually going to start working on the arms before I put this into place. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Anyhow, long story short, some months later, this little package shows up at my door, and I was like, what on earth is this? Because I hadn't ordered anything recently. I didn't know. I didn't have any memory of a purchase, which doesn't always mean that I didn't make a purchase. But I pulled it out of the package, and it was the head. It was a head for my New Age reflector, guys. And guys, it was even the correct head, because the three faces on those three dudes are slightly different. And I specifically told them, I said, hey, the three heads are different. If you get me a duplicate of one of them, I'm not going to be bothered in the least. I need a head for this guy. And they even got me the correct head. I was so impressed. So, Show Z Store all the flipping way, guys. Alrighty. So we're going to take this, fold this up. This guy's going to kind of shoop into that like so. How's this going to go? Like that. And then this is one of those weird pieces of engineering from the that's carried over from the leader class guy, and I always seem to fumble with these. This tucks into there, and I'm doing something. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. This part slides. Slides. Yeah, boy. All right, so we're going to do the other one. This time I'm not going to explain about how awesome Show Z Store is. I'm just going to talk about how you do this. So you want to start by folding in this little doohickey here. Bring this out a bit. Make sure that this little flappy bit is folded out. You want to lift up on this tab right here. That will allow you to pull on these guys. Fold that out, fold that out. This, fold him into a fist. You can leave the thumb here. You can, actually, I think you need to leave the thumb there. And then this guy is going to fold around. You'll see that there's a little tab here, and then there's also a tiny tab right here. It'll kind of notch onto that tab. And then this whole panel down here is going to fold up. You'll notice, by the way, when it folds up, here, let me unfold that real quick. Watch this panel here, this little blue one. It like slides out when it goes to its home. I think that's so fun. I think that's a clever piece of engineering. But anyhow, so let's take this and work this around. It will kind of come out and around and then fold in like so. And then you're going to take this and fold this all the way out. All the way out. And these are going to kind of work in together. And then with these, you can take these guys and tab them in to each other. And now when you fold this, now when you fold this up and over, this is going to slot right over there. And then this tab is going to slide in, and then this tab is going to slide in from underneath. Like that and that. There you go. And then with those in place, you're going to take this guy, slide it into here, and then we'll just kind of tab into there. And we'll do the same with the other side. Kind of work it in to tab into there. You do need to work it a bit because you'll see that there's this tab back here. That will actually need to tuck underneath this red guy, but there is no convenient way to do that. You just kind of gotta like push it and flex it a bit and just pray to Primus. By the way, it's not a perfect lineup, but it's pretty dang good, I would say. While we're here, let's talk about getting these lined up. Ugh. So you can take these and bring these out and around. And then this will come around and then they'll sit like that. You want to take this fuel tank, it opens up from the inside like that. And basically what's going to have to happen is you're going to have to open this up, and this whole thing is going to fold over this little red hinge. And it is not a pleasant feeling, but it, again, seems to work, and it seems to work every single time. This tab here, for some reason, fights me, so I use a spudger on that. And that will come out and around, and then when it's back here, it'll fold up and tab in right there. And we'll do the same for the other side real quick. So open that up from the back side. First of all, bring this guy properly around. Flex that over that. straighten these out, and then they will slide in together. This guy is going to come out and around and there. Undo this with a spudger. Bring that out and around. Bring that up, and then tab it into place. Tab it into place. Come on. There, like that. Now we're going to take one of these guys here, and you'll see they line up with the door. So if you realize that this is the little cargo space and this is going to be inside the fuel tank, here's the little cargo space, here's inside the fuel tank, this is the smokestack here. So it'll just chunk right into that hollow space in that fuel tank. And then that just sits in there. Do I need to? There we go. Yeah, you know how I told you that these legs extend out to adjust his height slightly? You need to make sure that those are fully unextended. So you may, if you're having issues getting everything lining up, you may want to just sit here, stick your thumb right on his ass and just push that in as far as it'll go. Because that'll make it so that these red hinges here will line up just past these blue panels. And this truck part here will sit fully in its final position. And in fact, we can start to plug this in. And that would be good for stability at this point. There's some kind of chunker tabs back here. There we go, chunker tabs. And then there's some more minor tabs up front. But if you wiggle these around, then you can tab. What's fighting me? What is fighting me up here? No, one of these tabs doesn't want to go home, but why? There we go. Just needed a bit of persuasion. All right, so that's all tabbed in. Now we're going to take these, plunk that into that hollowness there. Once you get that plunked in, you can, oh hey, missed a step. This part is going to slide back. Now when you plunk that in, this smokestack is going to line up and tab together. And then this is going to come up. Bring that into position. This guy here kind of tabs into that door and his leg. There's a big old tab back here that fits into that slot on that what used to be that leg panel. And then this is going to come down, plug into there. Make sure your tab seat. And that, as they say, is that. The smokestack will rotate and come up. And we'll do the same real quick for the other side. Shouldn't take as long. I've already shown you guys how to do it. Make sure that this is slid back. Plop that into there. Plug these guys in together. Bring that up. There's that leg and that door panel that I mentioned hiding under there in the shadows. And this will just plug right over the top of those. Plug all that in together. One of the fascinating things about this transformation, so there's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of things that move, and I'm going to be honest, it is really, really difficult to get them all arranged just perfectly. But for some reason, even if you don't get them like perfect, it still tends to look all right. All right, last step here, guys. We're going to take this and fold. Come on. Don't be a dick to me. Fold this out. Slide this up. This will rotate around. This will rotate around. Maybe rotate around this way. And then this will come down and you'll fold this. You'll see how it's on this little screw, but it's tabbed into here. You want to take this and bring this out like that. And bring this around, like so. And then this will fold down. There's a little tab here. It'll fit into there. And then this will sit just like so. Now, at this point, you are supposed to take this panel right here, this little panel here that has like little 4 bolt details on it, and rotate this 90 degrees. But I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. This panel is freaking tight. Now, there is, looking at this, there is a screw there. I could probably adjust that. But that's going to be to keep this aligned. And honestly, I haven't had any issue with it being aligned as it is. So I haven't worried about it. I don't intend to worry about it. And I just skipped that step in the transformation. Because why not? It's my toy. I can skip that step if I feel like it. And I do. But in full disclosure, you are supposed to rotate that. And it is a flippin' pain in the ass. So. And it looks just fine without that being rotated. So, like, why? There's no point to it. So, this will come down into place. And make sure that that's in place, and make sure that that's in place. And then it's in here somewhere, as I recall. Yeah, I don't remember that thing that I mentioned earlier. There's like a couple tabs or something back here that they don't do anything on this figure because they're actually engineering leftover from the MPO4 figure. Smokestacks will go up. And there we have him. In the interest of full completionism, you can take these and tab them into like so. Yeah, like so. Like so. Like so. Yeah, like so. Like so. And now he's got everything on him except his damn matrix that I can't get to work, fit in there anyhow. And there you have the Thunder Leader Optimus Prime in his truck mode, and it is a gorgeous truck mode. Everything is shiny. You've got silver paint. You've got chrome that attracts fingerprints like nobody's business. You've got these little tiny metal antennas, which if I was a trucker, I'd probably know what they did, but I don't. If you are a trucker, by the way, or even if you're not a trucker and you do know what they do, let me know in a comment, because I would like to find out. I'm curious. I suspect they have something to do with either A, just there to look cool maybe, or like B, there to like give the trucker maybe like a visual representation of how wide his truck is, or I don't know. It's all speculation from me. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, nothing really, not everything seems to like fit like perfectly. I especially have an issue getting like all of these panels to sit perfectly each and every time. For some reason, like one of them always fights me. But all in all, I think it still looks pretty damn good. You get your flames, you get your gradient, you got your chrome. These smokestacks like to pop down, but you can deal. And I just think it looks gorgeous. So, I got this from Show Z Store. Go ahead and hop over to them. I haven't checked it today, but recently I did see that they still had some. If the company has issued a reissue, that probably made the aftermarket price depressed somewhat, so you might be able to find one for a decent price on like eBay or something like that. Assuming you don't have the people who like, oh, I paid $150 for this, but I really want to buy it. I really want to sell it for $400. Assuming you don't have too many people of that ilk, you might actually find one for a pretty decent price. But anyhow, that's been it for me, everybody. Thank you. If you have made it all the way through, it's more than an hour already. So if you've made it all the way through this, you are a fucking superstar. Thumbs up to you. In any case, there, thumbs up. Yeah. In any case, thanks everybody for watching. You guys are fantastic. Everybody stay awesome and be good to each other. See ya.